I'm delighted to be here to usher you into the next phase. And I think we have sat for too long. If you don't mind, Mwakazi can just do one gig. We just stand up, stretch a bit, and we can continue. Thank you.
Kayamba Africa, njoo tusaidie kunyoroka kidogo.
Kidogo tu, yeah.
Naam, kidogo. Makofi ya Kayamba Africa. Karibu sana. Thank you so much. For those watching via the online platform, get your glass of water, take a bit of a break. It's a breather, and then we'll be back just in about 2 minutes. So thank you so much for keeping it here.
So,
Kayamba Africa, take it away.
yeah. Two.
Yeah, let's take this an opportunity to just stretch a bit, take 1 or 2 minutes, health break, so that we get to the next very interesting session of the panel discussion. Kayamba Africa.
Just wait.
Everybody, let's go. You're watching via the online platform. Let's go. Everybody. Well done. You're watching online. Let's do this together. Thank you, Dr. Chalo.
Now wake up.
Well done. A big round of applause to Kayamba Africa. Dr. Daniel Chalo, over to you.
Wonderful. That was wonderful. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take you to the next session where we are going to have a very interactive panel discussion. We are going to have 4 panelists, and you allow me to call them to come to the dais here so that we can get to business. I want to start with an eminent leader who has stood out in this republic as a very wonderful leader, not just politically wise, but also embracing technology. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Dr. His Excellency Wilbur Otichilo, the Governor of Vihiga County. Karibu, Governor. Also, I'd like to welcome to the stage and the Executive Director of AATF will allow me to break protocol here, because we are doing this for one purpose, and that is to bring prosperity to our farmers. We are joined here by a number of farmers, and I want to call one to the stage so that she can also be part of this panel, and this is none other than Winfred Kasavi. Winfred Kasavi is a successful farmer from Kitui County. She has done many crops, but notably, she is a BT cotton farmer, one of the pioneers who have embraced BT cotton production. Karibu sana, Winfred. And now, allow me to welcome the leader of one of the wonderful organizations that has set itself apart as a champion of technology, and that is none other than the Executive Director of AATF, Dr. Canisius Kanangire. Karibu, Daktari. And last and not the least, there is one among us who has been there since when OFAB was born, and she has walked the journey courageously and bravely, and that is none other than the Director of ISA, Dr. Margaret Karembu. Welcome, Daktari. So as Daktari settles on her seat, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are here for one reason today, and that is to celebrate science, celebrate the achievements that we have seen over the years. But one thing has to be very clear to us. As we celebrate, we should not forget or lose sight of where we are going. We need to know that we have done many things, we have achieved a lot, but the journey is not yet done. And therefore, this panel session is just to take a short pause, look back where we have come from, what lessons have we learned, and how can we use these lessons to achieve much more in the future. And therefore, my eminent panelists, I would like you to feel at ease and to really share your minds about a lot of things that I will guide you on. And also for you audience, this is the opportunity, because since we started, I think you have listened a lot. And therefore, I would like also to have, to use this opportunity to allow you to ask questions that will help us to answer certain questions around the theme I just shared. And therefore, I want to give the panelists just 1 minute each just to say one word as we get into the real discussion. Karibuni. And let me start with the ED of AATF.
Thank you very much, Willie. I want to take the first minute to thank all of you for this very wonderful meeting, the OFAB Day, for the knowledge, the experience we are sharing here. And your presence is a testimony of what we want to achieve together to transform Africa's agriculture and hopefully end hunger and malnutrition. I think that in the water and sanitation area, we used to say to all the variety of donors who are around, and I'm just making a call to everyone to do whatever possible to make that ending hunger a possible decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Indeed, someone who is hungry cannot have dignity. Karibu, Bwana Governor.
Thank you. First, I'm here to give a testimony that politicians can also be scientists. Because many people see politicians as people who have argument. because I was so frustrated. Every time we wrote policy papers and we gave to Parliament, nobody could understand them, and in many cases they were abandoned. So I chose to go there to make a difference. And I think I've made a big difference. I've even chosen to go and now be a governor, to be with the people on the ground and implement the policies at the ground. And as a member of the Council of Governors, I want to say, OFAB, let us work directly with the county governments, because there is where the action is.
Wow. A loud applause. That is a very strong statement that indeed scientists can also become politicians, and politicians can be scientists. And when we have that combination, it is a win-win. Thank you very much, Governor. Karibu Daktari.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Willie. And I'll take it from Governor Otichilo that we need politics, we need science, but what we need is more science in politics than more politics in science. Because that has been the major challenge that African countries are facing. My remark is about science, the role of science, technology, and innovation, especially what we have learned with the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. And as I've listened to governments, presidents, even the head of the World Health Organization, trying to make appeal that we need equity in the way vaccines are being distributed, I also feel that it is a wake-up call for Africa and African leaders to invest in science, to invest in her people. Africa is not short of talent. We have the best brains ever. Our brains match those of those developed countries that have developed the vaccines, that have developed innovative technologies. I think if we continue building our capacity for communicating science, then we'll build the confidence that is needed for the scientists to interact very closely with the policymakers and the politicians so that we can have an enabling environment to deliver. The day is just beginning for Africa. We can make it, we will make it, and we will show the way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Definitely, we will show the way. A better clap for Daktari. And now, when we meet in some of these boardrooms and conference rooms, we talk a lot about farmers. But more often, you'll be surprised that in a gathering of 100 people, there is no single farmer. And everybody else is talking about how they'll make farmers happy, how they'll make farmers adopt technologies. And I want to applaud the organizers of this forum that they thought it wise to bring farmers. Tuko naye hapa mama wetu mkulima Wilfred Kasavi. Tafadhali tusalimie.
Hamjambo. Mimi niko na furaha leo kukua hapa juu ya ukulima. Sasa mimi naona niko na wakubwa wangu wote hapa, na kama sio ukulima BT isingekuwa hapa. Kwa hivyo nimeshukuru sana kwa kukua hapa. Na nikirudi Kitui nitalima sana zaidi kuliko vile nilikuwa nalima. Juu nimeona nitaenda mbali.
Asante sana. And indeed, that was Swahili. For those who don't understand Swahili, she's really happy. And she's one of the farmers who has embraced technology and one of the early adopters. You know, in adoption, we have people who really pick the technology as soon as it lands. She was one of the early adopters of BT Cotton, and it is doing a great thing in her life, as she'll share later. So, asante sana, Winfred. So, quickly, because of time, let me just, because I know we are all waiting for the moment of the day where we are launching the OFAB grants. But before then, we want to just highlight a number of things here. And let me bring my first panelist here, Dr. Kanagire. We know that AATF has stood out as an organization that champions for the access and delivery of technologies to farmers. And we know a lot has been achieved. But could you please, in 1 minute or two, share with us whether the journey is done? Are we yet there? Or what really is the outlook in terms of technology adoption in sub-Saharan Africa. Karibu.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Willie. I think there are good news to celebrate, as we said earlier, as we saw in some videos. The adoption of technology is making progress. And one of the things I would say is that as science goes out of the labs and is transferred to the users, to the farmers, to policymakers, we are seeing more and more good results happening. First of all, I think most of the time scientists and other categories of our stakeholders get wrong one major thing. We think that we can sit in our laboratories and decide on what the farmers need. But farmers know. They know the losses they have when they don't have the right seeds, which would ensure that they increase their productivity. They know when you don't have a way to resist against the insects and other pests, and their crop again is ravaged by those pests and diseases. They know how the drought, for example, can also put them at loss, all the effort they have developed. They know those problems, and they know what they want. They want a better production. They want a high productivity. They want more income to come to them. In between there is the how to reach there. And the how is the technology which will come from the scientists, the innovators, those who generate the knowledge. They know also those who will transfer that knowledge to them and help them get the capacity to do that. And I'm glad to say that with all that effort of all of you here and more partners that we have out there, farmers have understood and adopted some of the seeds which result from technology, which will have the traits to resist against drought. We talk of maize, for example, to resist against insects. We talked about BT cotton, BT maize, and what, and that is coming. But also the farmers have understood that working like our fathers did, with the hoe and cutlass only, it will not bring them to a very high yield. And they have adopted now mechanization, which is coming. They understand they need it. It is now a matter of making it available and affordable for them. And that is, again, our effort to do that. And we can go ahead. They know that they lose most of their harvests to post-harvest losses of all kinds. They need processing. They need to add value. Bringing agro-processing technologies to them and technology to help them conserve their products will certainly be something that will respond to the need. And they know that. And they are appealing. And last, I think, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we got some of the farmers in one of the webinars saying what they do, how they adopt technologies, and how much they need to have more coming to them so that they can really beat all those catastrophes which happen to them or on things which could be prevented. And we can go on. Now, there is also there are technologies on agribusiness. Now and more, these smartphones are used by farmers to get where the market is. I can follow many groups on WhatsApp and what. Those are also technologies which help them to get information. So technology is coming, technology is being adopted, technology is being used, and as much as it comes to the farmers, I think they know what they want and they know it exists. The demand on the technologies and the demand on policymakers to soften the regulations, put in place policies that will help them to get access to technologies is coming up. You said, have we arrived? No, not unfortunately. We still are very far. The problems are so many. Challenges and bottlenecks are so many. We need to redouble our effort to let the farmers understand what is there for them, to let the policymakers understand that actually we need to help the farmers to take them out of the poverty situation most of the farmers are. We need to also even make our researchers understand that our role in research is to be problem solvers, not to do research for research while we are surrounded by so many problems which are causing so many death and stunting and everything. So we still have a long journey to go, and we can only do it if we continue and strengthen the efforts we have put in and continue to soldier ahead in this area. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. And yeah, I pick one word there that we are not yet there, and we need to do much more. We all need to be problem solvers. Your Excellency, you stand as one of the governors who has embraced technology. And I'm saying this having in mind that you have achieved a number of things, but I want to single out one, that you are the first governor in Kenya to embrace the use of GIS for planning in the county. Can we appreciate our governor here? And you developed the County Development Information Systems, and you even launched the Vihiga County GIS Lab. There was no other in Kenya, and we really appreciate you for that. Could you please share with us, of course you have told us that you're a scientist, but what else motivated you to go that route that many politicians don't want to venture into?
Thank you. Science, technology, and innovation are all based on data collection. And data analysis is the most difficult exercise in scientific world. You can collect a lot of data, but if you do not have proper analytical tools to help you analyze the data so that you can be able to interpret that data, is a tall order. Therefore, you need data analytical tools to do that. And in normal life, particularly at governance level, a proper governance system requires data for decision making. Any decision that is made that's not based on empirical data is a decision that could be floating. And is a decision that could be disastrous. So over years, as a scientist, I spent many years in the US, and one of the areas that I got interested in is in data analysis. And that's how I got involved in the development of GIS, that's a geographical information system. This is a computer-based system that allows you to analyze so much data of whatever magnitude and allows you to manipulate that data in any way. Allows you to do a lot of modeling so that you can answer many questions from the same data. And that is, as I am talking now, that's the most sophisticated data analytical system in the world. So I have been passionate about it, and I was one of the first people to introduce it in Africa. And when I got into politics and I became a manager, I thought that to demonstrate how to use these data analytical tools, I had to be a good example.
Wow.
And therefore, I'm a good example, and I can tell you the system we have put in place is very robust. Election should be a budget line,
Yes.
because that's what informs you what decisions to make. So as part of that, we have also embraced another technology, remote sensing technology. This is a technology which uses satellites that all go around our planet in real time at any time and take photographs or images in real time. So now we use those satellite imageries to map and see the human activities on the ground in real time. In real time. As regards agriculture, we are able to monitor the growth of any crop from the time of planting to the time of harvest. And we'll be able to see what is happening on a daily basis, composted in a 1-week basis, and we can be able to tell you before 3 months to harvest how much you are going to harvest. Through the same technology, remote sensing, we are now introducing precision agriculture, whereby you will be able to know how much moisture is in the soil. And as such, when you are carrying out irrigation, you will know how much water to add. Equally, we are able to do soil analysis to be able to know the nutrient content. So you don't need to put fertilizer without knowing what actually you want to put, what is deficient in the soils. So this is the type of technology we are doing. And GIS can be used across the board in all sectors of our economy.
Wow. Let's appreciate His Excellency. I think now we understand what happens when a scientist becomes a politician and even a manager. Great things happen, and you are doing great things there. We appreciate you. And when visionary leaders do great things, technologies get to farmers. And therefore now I want to bring the voice of Winfred. As I said, Winfred is a farmer, and she's going to share with us a brief story of her farming experience, and particularly the experience that has been brought to her farm through the adoption of the new technology of BT cotton. She requested that I can mix with Swahili for comfortability, so I'll do that. Tafadhali Winfred, unaweza kutuelezea kwa kifupi historia yako kama mkulima, na haswa ukilinganisha mbegu ya pamba ambayo ulikuwa unapanda hapo awali na mbegu mpya ya pamba ya BT cotton na ile mabadiliko imeleta kwa shamba lako. Karibu sana.
Mimi ni mkulima wa pamba. Nilianza kulima pamba 2016 na nilikuwa nikilima hizi mbegu zingine, lakini last year ndio nilijaribu kupanda BT mwezi wa 11 17th ndio nilipanda BT yangu, na nikapanda hiyo ingine nilikuwa nikipanda sehemu kidogo. Hata kama mvua haikunyesha kwetu vizuri, lakini BT ndio nilifuna. Hii akawaita si kufuna kitu, niliweza kufuna kilo 444 na hiyo ingine sikupata kitu. Sasa nikilinganisha hiyo nilikuwa nikipanda na BT ni mzuri, na kama mvua ingenyesha nilikuwa natarajia kupata tani 3. Last year nilipanda hiyo ingine, kulikuwa na mvua, nilipata tani 2. Sasa nilikuwa nikitarajia mvua ingenyesha vizuri, ile BT nilikuwa nimepanda eka 2 nitapata tani 3. Lakini mvua haikunyesha, hiyo ni mambo ya Mungu.
Asante sana. So let's appreciate Winfred. In brief, what she said is that she used to grow another variety of cotton, and she embraced BT cotton. And that particular season, she planted the two varieties side by side. Unfortunately, the rains were not very good. From the section where she had planted BT cotton, she managed to harvest around 440 kilograms. But from the section where she had planted the other variety, she didn't harvest anything. So that shows, other than just enhancing the yields, it is also dealing with the drought in a very good way. And I think that is something that we need to celebrate. As I bring in Daktari, I want to pick 2 questions from you, audience, as soon as Daktari is done speaking, so that at least you can also throw your questions to my eminent panelist here. And Daktari, I know the stories that come from the farms, such as the one we just had, gives you a lot of joy. And that is because you have walked this journey for quite some time. You have been in the biotechnology space for quite a long time, not just in Kenya, but across Africa. And the question is, could you pick the 2 most important lessons that you have learned in this journey?
Thank you very much, Willie. Very quickly, It has been a learning process. We have all been in it with many stakeholders, many partners. One of the things that we have learned is knowledge is good. You know, you need to increase knowledge about biotechnology, but that is not enough because there are so many other underlying factors. So the belief system, the value system, and when you demonstrate to stakeholders that you share some values together, the value of bringing food on the table, the value of creating wealth for the African farmer, for the woman farmer. I'm so proud of Winnie and many other farmers. We have come from far with the farmers. And so just getting to be in their shoes that, you know, you care with them, you know that you're moving this together. Even as you increase knowledge, very, very key, get to also understand what is it that you share between yourself as a scientist and the stakeholders. Then it becomes easier for your messages to be accepted and to be implemented. And with that, we have been working very closely with the farmers and even with the policymakers to establish exactly what they want to know about agricultural biotechnology. Because again, we realized as scientists, we want to hammer what we think they need to know, stakeholders need to know. So we need to continuously collect data that advises us on what exactly stakeholders are concerned about and what they care most to know about agricultural biotechnology, instead of us defining what we think they need to know about the technology. The second lesson that we have learned is that of products. You know, there is nothing like when you are communicating or creating awareness in the presence of a product, and a product that demonstrates impact. And so in countries where there have been products that have been commercialized, it is becoming much, much easier to create more awareness because people, you know, the farmers, they can see, if it's the politicians, they can see their voters are now adopting new technologies, they are creating more money and, you know, getting their families better. And so I would say that this lesson is very key, that we drive awareness through products, and this partnership with AATF has been very important, and with other stakeholders, because they've really been working towards technology transfer and also building the capacity of our scientists and our researchers in Africa to be able to deliver products so that we can demonstrate impact. And that way, it will become much easier as we go through the awareness creation cycle. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Creating awareness through products. Let's appreciate Daktari. So, can I get just 2 questions or comments from the floor? The first one here. Bring the mic here, please. Please introduce yourself and go straight to your question or comment. Let me get another hand so that I know where to go from here.
Thank you. My name is Saldanio Magodu. A small-scale cotton and maize farmer and chairman for Sombifac. Sombifac is Society for Biotechnology Farming of Kenya, which advocates for the incorporation of new agricultural biotechnology, including genetically modified crops into Kenya's agricultural system, with an aim of increasing production and protecting farmers' yield. Now, here it has come out very well that truth is like a lion. Release it and it will defend itself. Already we have been told by a farmer who compared our conventional varieties with the BT cotton, and she has gone on the side of agricultural biotechnology. I'm saying that today I'm celebrating OFAB because it is where first we heard about a crop with an inbuilt mechanism to protect itself from crop diseases, pests, and drought. And we came to form Sombifac. Now, my question goes to Dr. Canisius. What is that which was done in the 6 plus Kenya, 7 African countries, that cannot be done to the others to adapt agricultural biotechnology? Knowing that at the first instance, the doctor told us that Africa has the highest, or is the highest in the food insecurity. And is it not possible to have an agricultural biotechnology symposium in the AU so that other brother countries of Africa can adapt agricultural biotechnology so that we can be food secure? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just hold it. We get another question so that they can be answered together. Yes, pass the mic to that gentleman over there.
Hello. My name is Philip Keitang. I'm a journalist and the agriculture editor at the Standard Group. Mine actually is not a question. It is an opinion. Though in journalism, most of the time we are told as a journalist, we are always told you keep your opinions to yourself. But today I want to share an opinion I have. And my opinion is, I want to say, as a people, we are hypocrites. In that, for a very long time, biotech has been proven over and over again that it can sort these problems that we have, especially when it comes to feeding our people. But a few people or organizations have totally refused to agree with it, have totally refused to agree with the science behind it, and they are happy to see the people die of hunger. One of the farmers today was complaining about the animal feed. As we speak today, the other day there was an article that almost 30 small feed manufacturers have closed shop because of lack of raw material. Yet the government has refused at least to allow a little bit of biotechnology or biotech maize to be brought in to help the situation. And I say we are hypocritical in that sometime last year, the world was hit by COVID-19. Scientists ran all over the place to come up with a remedy. And in less than 2 years, we have a vaccine that everyone is taking. If you ask me, these vaccines have not been proven over and over again whether they work or not. But biotech has been here for all these years, yet we've refused to take it. But we are taking a jab that is 2 years old. Do you want to tell me that is not being hypocritical? So that is my opinion.
Thank you very much, Philip Keitani, for that opinion. Very honest opinion and resonates very well with most of us. We may not get the answer in this room, but we must and we should seek for answers to that question that you are seeking. And I can see His Excellency wants to respond to that, but before then, let's have Dr. Kanagire respond to Mangodu's question. Kanagire first.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, the absorption of technology and the use of biotechnology to solve many of the problems we have in agriculture, both in the usual agriculture where we rear crops and in livestock, is penetrating very, very slowly. And only a few countries have been able to make some good progress. Why? That is the question. I think the why is, we can throw there many possible reasons. Probably they don't understand exactly the complexity of the technologies and be able to be comfortable toward the adoption versus the many misinformation that they receive from different activists. That could be one. And then there is also pressure of some of the donors who are so comfortable that they have choices. They are not hungry. They accept selectively the technologies that they can adopt. You know, every country has, for example, adopted the insulin for diabetes because they have that problem. And it is produced with the same technologies which we are now proposing to produce food for people. But they have food, and therefore they are not very interested to generalize the adoption of those technologies. That could be another, because they are our donors, and they have their own philosophies. They don't want this to happen, and we follow. And the other things, and I will borrow an example of what happened in those Latin American countries. America was applying genetically modified crops and having them. And Argentina adopted it. Brazilian, when they were moving in that region, they saw that their neighbors were getting better result in their agricultural activities than themselves. And they adopted the technologies before even the policies came. And they made a pressure and demanded to their policymakers that they open the door for that technology to be embraced also in their country so that they can be able to solve their problems. And they brought in all the research centers, major research centers. They now focused on solving the problems and propose solutions to the farmers. I think here what I want to say is that we have different levels of understanding. And because of that, some few countries are making very good progress. We are talking of South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, and some others. So what we need is to open up the dialogue, to have these issues discussed, to show that biosafety can be upheld even for those new technologies that we are proposing, and show the benefit our countries, our individuals at their community levels, our small and big farmers can get, and then give them the options from which they can choose. So as AATF, we are preparing to start that kind of creating platforms where different categories of stakeholders will come and discuss, and those will include researchers, farmers, policymakers, and others, so that we can see how to change the mindset. As we said when we started, all starts in the head. You change, and then things will unfold. This is what we are doing, and hopefully in a few years to come, we will not tell you next season things will change drastically. But in 2 weeks, I discussed with some policymakers, and they are now welcoming the OFAB chapters in their countries. And not only that, they are saying, oh, come and do some trials on rice, on maize, and those other crops. So it is coming, and the good example, the good testimonies that you will give here, they will be brought to other farmers elsewhere, and they will create, I'm sure, some good movement. Emotion will be set, and we hope that soon we'll be using technologies to eradicate hunger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate that very clear response. And now I want to loop in His Excellency to comment on the opinion about, yes, we have been having biotech with us for so many years. A challenge comes in, and so quickly we run around and look for a solution, most of which, by the way, is also driven by biotechnology. And that is a puzzle that we are going to continue seeking answers to. But the governor will comment on that. And as you comment on that, Your Excellency, I also want you to combine this with this other question from myself that, yes, we have seen you are someone who has really embraced technology. And we know that we really need technology in agriculture, and particularly agricultural biotechnologies. What experiences can you draw from your, you have pioneered that. What experiences can you draw from that we can use to, encourage other governors and even other countries to embrace technology in agriculture and even biotechnology? Over to you, Your Excellency.
Thank you. First, I want to associate myself with the opinion of one of our participants here. I think he has a very serious point. And in my speech, I tried to touch it, but I didn't want to elaborate. I talked about transatlantic trade wars. As we look at this matter, let's look at it in a business world, because we are dealing with products, and these products go to the market to be sold. So there is quite a lot of inside wars that are being fought. And some of you, if you read WTO, you will see some of these World Trade Organization, protocols and so on, the TRIPS and so on. You'll find lots of wars. But the issue here is that many countries, particularly they who are producing excess food, they want to have a market. And therefore, if you allow countries that are your direct market to start producing their own, you lose the market. And that's why Africa, we are suffering. And if you have seen those who actually sponsor activities that aimed to stop African countries from adopting this technology, most of them are civil societies from Europe and elsewhere. And they come here and they are able to convince our civil societies simply because they are paying them. They are giving them money. And in the process, our civil societies here, because they deal with the people direct, and they are given science which to them is to disseminate. And in that way, you find that we are other agents from outside are being used on our own people to ensure that we don't adopt this technology, so that we remain dependent, so that we can continue importing. We can continue getting all these donations. So that's, if we were to go now in politics, if we were to now talk as a politician, then I'll give you more information, which mostly may not be in the public domain. So that's one of the reasons why you find that we, in most of African countries, this technology is not being adopted, even when it's very apparent that it works. And you even ask, when our decision makers, including myself, who are politicians, when we travel to US, we travel to Brazil, Argentina, we don't ask. We eat all that food happily. All these foods, if you go to the supermarket, I don't know how many of you pick a supermarket products that are imported and read the content. Quite a number of them are GMO. They have written there. But who dares to know? So there is a question of market forces that are in play. As regards to your question, time will tell. But it is upon Kenyans and Africans to put the right leadership in place. Leaders that are progressive, leaders that want to make decisions based on data and information. So I can't tell you how long it will take, but we need champions. Yes. So if we have more champions like Otichilo and others, then they will eventually overrun the rest. But I think if we can reach a level where our governance system is driven by data and information, then we'll change quickly.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think that's a wonderful one. The buck stops with the leadership, and we are hoping as leadership progresses, and we are hoping that we have leaders who will be champions of technology. Our partners from Ghana who are following us through live stream have a question, and I want to allow them to ask the question. Ghana, please ask your question. Ghana, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
My name is John Diwonu, and I'm a farmer, and my question goes to the farmer. She made mention about her cotton farm that has survived drought. In Ghana, our cotton farms have almost collapsed due to insect pests. And also the fact that you have to use hazardous chemicals, which are class 3, which the EPA has banned. So I want to find out whether the seed that she planted is both drought and insect resistant, because we are all learning.
All right, John. Thank you very much. We have received your question. Yeah, Winfred, this question goes to you. That is your fellow farmer, many miles away, but sharing similar challenges. Akona shida ya mvua kama wewe, akona shida ya wadudu kama wewe, na amefurahia kusikia story yako kwamba ulipanda mbegu ambayo ilikusaidia kustahimili kiangazi. Swali lake ni, hiyo mbegu kwa maoni yako inaweza kustahimili kiangazi na bado kupigana na wadudu ambao wanaangamiza pamba?
Biti, kitu moja naokopa jua. Tena kuna nini, hizi mbegu zingine za kawaida chenye ilikuwa natusumbua sana ni katapila. Biti haiumi na katapila, lakini hizi magonjwa zingine kama si tumetatizwa sana na mealybugs, imetusumbua sana.
Kwa biti ama kwa hiyo ingine?
Biti, kwa yoyote, hata hiyo ingine. Mealybugs ilitusumbua kwa kila kitu kwa shamba. Si ati ni biti peke yake, kwa kila mmea. Lakini biti ililemewa sana na mealybugs.
Na kiangazi? Pia
kiangazi iliokopa njua sana. Juu kamvua naye kalikuwa kidogo sana. Sasa ilikuwa inaokopa njua sana kuliko ingine. Lakini hata hivyo ndio ilitoa mazao nyingi kuliko ingine ya kawaida.
Okay, John, let me translate that. Winfred has indicated that, yes, she did the two varieties, and although BT cotton variety was able to resist the caterpillars, I think that's what we call the bollworm. I'm an economist, so allow me to learn also from the scientists here. It was able to resist the bollworm, but a few other challenges like drought, although they impacted BT cotton and even the other varieties, she was able to harvest a little bit more from the BT cotton variety. Thank you very much, John from Ghana. Time is not on our side, and I want to wrap up this in the next 5 minutes or so. And I want to bring in Dr. Karembu. You shared with us from the beginning some lessons. Now, if we were to use these lessons moving forward, could you please share with us how we can use the lessons you shared with us to deal with the challenges that you've seen over the years to create bigger and better impacts in the future for agricultural biotechnology in Africa? Karibu.
Thank you once again, Willie. I just wanted to make a comment about the BT cotton from the farmer perspective and to say that the current BT cotton seed that farmers in Kenya are getting are mainly improved to resist the bollworm, which is the caterpillar. Of course, more work is being done to ensure that the BT cotton, which is generally a drought-tolerant crop, can also have a better mechanism of surviving in places where there is little rainfall. And this is the challenge in Africa, that we rely on rains. So if the rains don't come, then the crops fail altogether. But we are now seeing that even when the rains are really moderate, they are very, very low, farmers can still make some harvest, even though that is not the optimum. Again, a challenge to our policymakers. How do we ensure that our farmers can move from just rain-fed to be supported with mechanisms of harvesting rainwater or accessing water for farming, so that even times when you get improved seed, then farmers can still get the benefit of that improved seed. Now, moving back to the question you asked me, our second president of Kenya said one time, and he kept, actually not one time, he kept repeating, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. That means bad politics, poor quality of life. I think for the area of agricultural biotechnology, one of the biggest challenges has also been the political interference with science. And when decisions are made based on science, and then they are subjected to a political process, then everybody misinterprets or interprets it differently according to the information that you have received. Just this morning, we had a session with members of parliament from one of the committees that is looking at the overlapping mandates of agencies involved in biotechnology and biosafety. Again, another big challenge, because when you have mandates of agencies within government with parliamentary laws that give them authority to govern aspects of the technology that are either duplicating or they extend the rate at which you can deliver products to farmers, it becomes very, very frustrating for the farmer, for scientists and for the farmers. So I would say that these frustrations that we have seen over time and why it has taken so long is because first we need to put our politics in place. I said science, more science in politics and more politics in science. Let us give that the mandate, the politicians, the legislators give institutions different mandates. So before enactment of a new legislation, it is so important that the existing laws and legislation are thoroughly reviewed so that we don't have this situation. This is a situation very, very serious in many African countries. You go to a Ministry of Environment, you go to Ministry of Health, Agriculture, Trade and Industry, all these have distinct mandates, but some of that interferes with the performance of the other. So that is very, very important. That's why politics is key, and it has been a frustration, but we can improve on that by making sure that we are able to move forward. The other challenge is what I talked about, information. What kind of information? Giving appropriate information, appropriate messages. Again, another example from this morning, interacting with the politicians. Allow me to just, I will not mention the name, but one legislator came when the meeting was almost over and said, oh, BT cotton is being forced down the throats of farmers. So and it's caused, we don't know what will happen in the long term. Keitani, Philip, has just said, we have this perception that until something is tested over a very long period of time, that is when we accept. And yet we have seen with COVID, we are looking for those jabs everywhere. And quite a number of them have been developed through modern biotechnology. What am I saying? I asked the honorable legislator, so where did you get, he said that in India, where they have had a lot of these health issues, cows, I don't know, ate BT cotton. So I asked him, okay, where did you get that information from? Could you see the scientific evidence? Then he said, oh, I got it from Google. He said, oh, if we are going to rely on Google to make our policies in Africa, and yet we have all this talent, the capacity of African researchers who are continuously assessing the safety of these products, biotech products, ensuring that we are using international standards, because safety is universal. As a scientist, I wouldn't develop a product or even advocate for a product that I'm not sure about. In Africa, we really want to thoroughly, as the rest of the world. So we need to trust in our scientists. We need to trust in the evidence that is being generated by our scientists to inform the policy, so that our policies are evidence-based, and that way our lives will be better, because our policies and our legislations will be based on evidence and the best of what we are generating in Africa. And that is a major, major challenge that we need to go. Misinformation is so ingrained. Let me finish by saying that the biggest danger of agricultural biotechnology in Africa and elsewhere where there is a lot of resistance is the notion that everybody knows something about it. If you ask anybody on the streets, they know something about GMOs, they know something about biotechnology. What do they know? So you dig further. So what do you know about? 90% or 95% will be negative information that cannot be verified by science. So again, to the danger of everybody thinking that they know, or at least they have an idea of what the technology is about, but the interaction between scientists and those publics has not been as effective or as vigorous as it should be. So let's engage more, and our media are there. They have been working very, very well, interacting with the scientists so that we get the right information that is going to help decision making and also moving forward our continent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I think very important insights there. I just want to pick one. You correctly mentioned that people look for information out there. And if the information out there is the non-factual information, that's what they rely on. That's a call for us scientists to also work hard to put a lot of information out there. So that as that guy Googles and finds a cow ate this and did this, he also find another one countering the same. And therefore, information can help to change the mindsets of the people, as Dr. Kanagire mentioned. It's all about the mindset. And that mindset is influenced by what you are feeding it. So if you feed it with the wrong information, that is what it will become. So as we wrap up, because of time, I think our time is gone. I just want to give my panel speakers 1 minute each to give closing remarks. And I'll start with Dr. Kanagire. And as I give your closing remarks, I don't want to lose sight to the success that was achieved recently in Nigeria. That was achieved through AATF and partners. We entered the books of records, not just in Africa, but globally, by releasing the first cowpea variety that is resistant to the Maruca pest. And therefore, in 1 minute, you can just share with us that what trick did AATF do? Because that's something that other countries can borrow to move the same direction. So please share with us in 1 minute, and then you can give your closing remarks. And then we'll go giving closing remarks in that order. Thank you.
The success in having the BT cowpea released in Nigeria, indeed, it is a historical success, which is the result of a strong and very strategic partnership, where you have identified a real problem, and here we are saying that cowpea is the staple, the source of proteins for more than 200 million. And having the Maruca pod borer destroying fields of cowpea was a serious problem. So you come to solve a problem, and you communicate about the technology and what the technology will achieve. And you communicate to different key players, key stakeholders. To policymakers, you have communicated so that policies can change. Though it is not the first thing. You need first to communicate to those scientists, to bring science to them. The technology is understood. The result is understood. The stewardship, how do you accompany the application of that technology? You talk to the farmers for whom you are resolving the issue. But the biggest success also is how you work with private sector in between to make sure that the seeds are multiplied, the seeds are distributed, and commercialization is effective. So I will link it to my concluding word. Collaboration. Strategic collaboration is key. You need to identify the key players, and researchers are one. Farmers are one. Policymakers are one. And here, you need to bring all of them together and be able to communicate also to the farmers. Private sector need to be involved, because in the case of cowpea, now that they have understood the benefit of the technology, the demand for the seeds is very high. If the private sector does not come in and develop business around it and make it available and sustainable, as they also consider the affordability of this, to bring the benefit to the people, it will be another problem. So all of us, we need to work together for the same goal. So collaboration, communication, and synergies are very important in this thing.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
I had a question for Mheshimiwa, His Excellency, as he makes his remarks. So, Your Excellency, Wilbur, one of the biggest challenges with the technology is sustaining political goodwill. We have seen politicians, different governments come in, where one is supportive, one is unsupportive. How do we sustain political goodwill as you make your final remarks?
Thank you. First, I want to take this opportunity to thank OFAB for the invitation. And I want to use this opportunity to say you are doing a good job. I think you saw in the film when I was a member of parliament, I still said you are doing a good job. I want still to reiterate the same. And I want to say that continue, get more chapters in various countries, continue what you are doing. Next, you need, as you have clearly said, to step up the communication. The communication is very important, and to engage many national institutions that are responsible for biotechnology, so that they can also be involved in the communication exercise. But more importantly, we need to move from the higher level institution to the farmers, because those are the ones that will make a difference. Finally, it has even the politicians. When we want votes, we eventually go to the farmers. We go to the small guys down there. You have seen now in Kenya here, all of us are running towards the local people because we know they will give us. So if we can also empower our farmers, have a lot of them know this information, and let them articulate this. Particularly in Kenya here, local FM radios have become very popular. If you can have a program where some of these farmers that have excelled, that can go, you can sponsor them or let them go and talk to the people direct, using their own local dialects, it will have a bigger impact. And if politicians come to learn that their local people know more and they're accepting that technology, they will have no choice but just to change. So I think, Margaret, I agree. I want to let you know that, yes, we need to empower the people. And that's why I said also in my earlier speech that let us move to the counties. Because we are running governments. I run my government. I have a government. I make decisions. I make laws. I make policies, which I execute. So let's not hang up here. Because up here there is too many controls and big boys and girls. Come where there are small guys, small girls and boys down here. And we will have things work. So that as the national government is still deciding, we at the counties will move forward. So I would recommend that let us engage with the Council of Governors, and we will be able to come up with an MOU on how to work together, and we will take this matter to the farmer, who is the one who is affected most. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and I'm glad. Let's appreciate that. Communication is coming out as a very key thing here, and I'm glad in this room we have a lot of journalists, and we really appreciate you because you've taken the path that many journalists don't take, science communication. And I want to believe that you'll continue on that path, and if we enhance the collaborations that Dr. Kanagira talked about, and if we go to the grassroots like the governor has mentioned, I think over and over the message will get to our farmers. And if the demand comes from our farmers, our politicians will definitely listen. Dr. Karembu, your closing remarks, please.
Thank you very much. Let me also appreciate the long partnership we have had with AATF and the other partners, the government of Kenya, and indeed the governments represented in the OFAB chapters. We have all been working together. We have played the role of a mother, and now when you see the many children that have grown and they are even getting bigger than you, you feel very good as a mother. So I want to congratulate the OFAB chapters that are coming up very, very well. Let me also mention that, in conclusion or in closing, we are happy in Kenya that now we have a crop, a biotech crop with farmers. But the journey has just begun. We have heard about some of the challenges that farmers are having, and I want to encourage our private sector also not to relent in making sure that the stewardship, the information that the farmers require to make sure that BT cotton becomes a success in Kenya are put in place. There are many opportunities. We have seen in Nigeria now, we have many opportunities for the seed companies to come on board to ensure that the seed delivery before the onset of the rains, because again, that's a fact. Most of our farmers are rain dependent. We don't want situations where the seed is not available until the first drop of the rains come, because that way then the farmers lose. So I want to make an appeal that as partners, as stakeholders, let's ensure that this journey that has begun with BT cotton is managed well. Our farmers now will be the ones to tell us the testimonies. We are happy that they are very frank and honest. They are telling us the successes. They are telling us the challenges. These challenges are being taken very, very seriously, and I hope that as a team, we'll all work together to ensure that those are addressed to deliver BT cotton. As we await for biotech maize, which is also again in the offing, and genetically modified or the disease-resistant cassava that is also in the offing in Kenya. So we are really looking forward, because product is key. Once the products are with the farmers, now the story goes there. It's the farmers who tell the testimonies. Lastly, for the media, community media, as Mheshimiwa here, Otichilo, the governor, is talking about going to the grassroots. Let's also ensure that our community media stations are also empowered, so because they are the ones who broadcast in local language, in the vernaculars that farmers will also be able to understand. The politicians will also be able to advocate for the technology, and that way we'll have a closed loop where misinformation is reduced and we are able to overcome these challenges of aggressive activism against biotechnology in Africa. The key word is, let's provide the choice that farmers need, just as we have the choice of the tools that we use for our communication, ICTs and all that. Let's also provide that opportunity for farmers to get that choice. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Let's appreciate Margaret. Finally, Madam Winfred, ujumbe wako wa mwisho kwetu sisi, researchers, politicians, and your fellow farmers. Unataka kutuambia nini? Jambo la mwisho. Karibu.
Mimi ile kitu naweza sema ni kwa wakulima wenzangu, mwaka hii tujaribu tulime BT, sana sana wamama kama mimi. Tulime BT, tukue na pesa yetu kwa mfuko, tujiendeshe maisha. Juu naona BT mvua ikinyesha vizuri itatuweka mahali mzuri. Na tena wakubwa wangu hapa, kama inawezekana, hiyo mjaribu kutatafutia hizi mbegu za kisasa kama mahindi, ndengu, ile tunaweza panda itusaidie kwa maisha. tutakuwa mmetufanyia mzuri. Ni hivyo.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. She just encourages other farmers to grow BT cotton, and especially women, because it's a crop that can empower women economically. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this panel discussion. Put your hands together as you applaud my eminent panelists. They have done a great job. Thank you very much for your time. Asanteni sana. Back to you, Mwakazi.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Thank you so much indeed, and all the panelists. Makofi out of the valley. Thank you so much. Bringing prosperity to our farmers, empowering our farmers, celebrating, yes, but the journey is not yet done. Hunger takes the dignity from people. Politicians can also be scientists, and scientists can be politicians, but there is need for more science in politics than politics in science. Thank you so much indeed. And any decision not based on empirical data can be disastrous. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to that place where we want to celebrate the men and women of the Fourth Estate. These are the people who bring the news, the information to our very doorsteps. So, to now, as we get to that place, to now introduce the OFAB Journalism Grant. Please put your hands together once again to the Executive Director, AATF, Dr. Canisius Kamangire, to guide us through this session. Ladies and gentlemen, makofi yake tafadhali. And all those watching,
Before I go to, is it working?
yes.
Okay. Before I do what I'm asked to do, as a stubborn student, I will first answer the question he asked earlier to discuss with our neighbor and say what we think is most important to transform agriculture. And my neighbor was His Excellency. You understand that I had a very good team met. And we agreed that two things are very, very important, key to transformation. The first is technology. The second is communication. And what does that mean? It means that we scientists, we researchers, we innovators, we generators of the knowledge, we have a critical role to make useful technologies available to respond to the needs and solve the problems that our communities have. That is one. The second thing is communication. Communication, because it is the communicator, it is the journalist who will bring that knowledge, that technology to the stakeholders, who are the farmers, who are the policymakers, who are the private sector, and show them the usefulness of changing the way we are doing things and adopt those technologies which will bring solution. One of the presenters talked about precision agriculture, which will enable us to practice precision agriculture and not waste the resources that we have. It is the communication people, it is the journalists who will bridge the two huge components, the generators of the technologies and the users of these technologies. We have a huge responsibility. And this brings me now to what we are celebrating today. And the position and the value we give to journalists in this effort of transforming Africa's agriculture and eradicating hunger and malnutrition. So let me go now to what Johnston asking me to do. His Excellency, the Governor of Vihiga County, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you for the moment we have been waiting for. And permit me to tell you that the climax of the OFAB Day is the unveiling of the 2020-2021 OFAB Africa Journalism Grant. That is the climax, and that is what I'm here for, and that is what we have been waiting for. The goal of the grant is to advance innovative reporting approaches that enable better coverage of agricultural technology, biotechnologies, that enable better coverage of agricultural biotechnology issues in Africa for the adoption of evidence-based policies on agriculture biotechnology in sub-Saharan Africa. And you clearly understand why we are focusing on this part of the African continent. It is because the consumption of biotechnology is the lowest. As I said earlier last week, I was discussing with one of the ministers of agriculture, and she said Africa is starving of technology in general and biotechnology especially. So we need to address that issue in this part of Africa and sub-Saharan Africa. And the grant aims at cultivating and strengthening OFAB's relationships with award-winning journalists. And this inaugural OFAB grant award, we have received an overwhelming number of applications, given that this exercise is a competitive grant. And this opportunity was open to all OFAB Media Award winners from all OFAB chapters in Kenya, in Uganda, in Tanzania, in Ethiopia, in Nigeria, in Ghana, and in Burkina Faso. However, like any other competition, we must have winners. We want to commend everyone who participated.
10,
but
9,
everyone can
8, 7, 6,
So
5.
let's see now who won the competition.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good. My duty now, I think, is to appreciate the esteemed panel of judges who worked tirelessly to vet the applications and identify the winners. I want, therefore, to welcome the representatives of our esteemed panel of judges, Ms. Eugenia Abu and Mr. Otula Our, to take the stage and lead us into the next steps of this very wonderful moment.
Thank you so much, Daktari, as we wait for the chief judge to come in. Kayamba Africa, we've just launched the journalism grant.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we receive the guests, please, as we receive the judges, please let's be upstanding and shake a leg a bit.
Hiya!
This is not for too long.
Hiya, 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 hiya. This is the moment.
Ambimulole bakusundanga liseba. Ambimulole bakusundanga liseba. Abanduvo. Ambimulole bakusundanga liseba. Abanduvo. Ambimulole bakusundanga liseba. Siriya, 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 Aya, let's try and kick one leg after the other like this. Let's go. Mwanamberi mayaye, mayaye kila mtu. Twende. Mwanamberi mayaye, mayaye go. Leti dura toto mwakura, kumikumiha. Leti dura toto mwakura, kumikumiha.
Asante sana.
Omwanamberi nishekorero. Omwanamberi nishekorero.
Thank you so much. Panel of judges, Eugenia Abu and Otula Award, please take the stage. But before that, Dr. Kanangiri, makofi yake tafadhali. Another big round of applause. Karibu sana, Daktari. Thank you so much.
Kofi na asante sana kwa dance. I think those were wonderful things. After all those makofi and dance, I think it is my great pleasure to declare the OFAB award, the OFAB Journalist Award launched.
Makofi tafadhali, a standing ovation, ladies. Tusimame wote, tusimame. Let us all stand. The OFAB Journalism Grant official launch. Thank you so much, Dr. Kanangira. Thank you so much. We may take our seats now ready.
The goal of the 2020-2021 OFAB Africa Journalism granted by OFAB Africa is to advance innovative reporting approaches that enable better coverage of agricultural biotechnology issues in Africa for adoption of evidence-based policies on agricultural biotechnology in sub-Saharan Africa. The grants aim at cultivating and strengthening OFAB's relationships with award-winning journalists. OFAB award winners from OFAB chapters in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Ghana and Burkina Faso, and a finalist at the OFAB Africa Media Awards are eligible for application. The applicants submit a grant proposal to OFAB management for consideration, outlining how they will use the grant to research and publish stories. Some of the key qualities judges look at is editorial focus and quality, impact and reach, and innovation.
Excellent. So now this is the moment we've been waiting for, and we have our judges joining us online. Before we mention the winners of the Journalism Grant, OFAB Journalism Grant, we're now ready.
Otula, we can hear you.
Otula, speak to us.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yes,
Hear you from
Thank you very much. First and foremost, we would really want to thank everybody, particularly the fact that scientists and scientists.
Yes, not yet again. Check yourself.
Hello?
We can hear you loudly and clearly. Please go ahead.
Do you hear me?
Yes,
We can. Go ahead.
So I have to thank again AATF for offering this opportunity for grants. Most of the journalists do not have that opportunity, but it has begun. It is a recognition of efforts by journalists. And the journalists of this generation, I have to say, are better educated, more informed, and very competitive in a globalized world. And they are well placed to handle issues of biotech. And for that matter, if you went through their documents and their applications, you'd find they are really people who know what they are doing, and a number of them have reported on biotech issues. Even more, the scientists are more willing to talk to journalists. That's a major, major development. The fact that the executive director of ATF recognized that communication and technology are at the center of socioeconomic development. In our part of the world, the journalists have a role to inform and educate. And you cannot inform and educate if you don't have appropriate information from the right sources. And in the era of misinformation, we need more and more journalists who can communicate effectively. Otherwise, some of us who have been around OFAB ever since it started, we appreciate the development we have seen. And in Africa, as much as there are some countries which could have done better, as a journalist I have to say, Kenya, Uganda, even Tanzania should have done much better. But we are proud that Nigeria is already a major step ahead within a relatively short time. That's something as journalists we can be proud of. And our policymakers have to really go back to their drawing board. There are so many excuses for the continent to avoid use of science and technology, including funding. I think as a science journalist who has been there for the last 30 years, I've seen African countries fail to meet their limits in funding science. And that's still a major problem. And as a journalist, I have to speak my mind on this. The young journalists we have now are prepared, they are ready to educate and inform the public, and it is a major step forward. And we urge them to go towards what we now is called solutions journalism, finding solutions, not blames. And as such, I had very, very good support from the team. Eugenia, who was here, and one of the best journalists you can find in this continent. We also had some of the best evaluators. And Dr. Kialo, I have to repeat it here, we are very impressed with the manner in which your team really went through some of these documents and made comments. Otherwise, I think science and technology is still key to Africa's socio-economic development, and journalists are at the center of it, especially agricultural journalists. It improves their performance, and even media houses here in Kenya have improved their sales when they started having special issues on agriculture. I'll have to stop there and let my good friend Virginia pick it up from there. Thank you very much. Virginia, karibu.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Othula. It's wonderful to be joining you all, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm particularly proud to have been on this panel. It was such an honor. Dr. Kanangire, well done to an excellent team that guided us through the judging. I'm very, very excited to be joining you. And I would like to say that from Nigeria, we send our greetings. Unlike Kenya, where you are able to have Swahili to say everything you want to say, we have several languages in Nigeria. So I'm not going to be greeting you in any Nigerian language particularly. but I'm going to say to all of you gathered, Abariako. I'm very pleased to be here. I'm excited on this inaugural OFAB Day that also introduces the OFAB Journalist Grant. To transform Africa's agriculture is to address hunger and malnutrition, and its ever-growing population needs all help that it can get. It is to leapfrog development on the continent. And I listened to the panel and all the panelists very assiduously. I thought they made such fantastic interventions that we all must take on board and take back to our various countries and learn. I thought it was really very brilliant, the conversations and the interventions they made. There's nothing more important, even amongst Africans and within African cultures, nothing more important than being able to feed our families and feed ourselves. And any technology that brings that on board is a technology that must be embraced to ensure that our integrity is in place. Because as you heard from the panelists, hunger removes your integrity. And this is important for us to look at BT and yields and look at BT quality and also look at the value that it brings to the table in terms of commerce and improving the pockets of various farmers across the continent. I'm honored to have been invited by AATF to join the panel of judges to determine the winners of the OFAB Journalism Grant. I would like to congratulate AATF for this initiative to build the capacity of our journalists Africa-wide, and to all those who applied for the grant, we say if you do not win this time, there is always another time. As a veteran journalist, broadcast journalist myself, and a media consultant, I believe that the media in Africa needs much capacity building, and this opportunity by AATF is an important and groundbreaking one. And I dare say that I hope that other organizations will join to help our journalists build their capacity. From the entries we saw, African journalists are very brilliant. All they need is just a little push in capacity building, and I'm glad that I'm part of this process. There have been many excellent entries, but winners have to emerge. Many indices, as you heard from the executive director of AATF, included innovation, focus, ability to reach more audiences, scalability, uniqueness, awareness creation, and realistic budgets. In today's multimedia world, many entries had different platforms, which is very exciting to see. But the winners had a strong voice in research, in focus, in audience reach, and innovation, as well as good content and great platforms. Media is critical, as you also heard from the executive director of AATF, in ensuring that whatever information is available reaches the community and the people in order for them to have a better quality of life. And this is pretty important to all the work that all developers and development organizations and governments and policymakers do in Africa. The media is critical. I urge winners to use their grants judiciously and push information that is critical for Africa in agricultural research. I congratulate AATF evaluators who are very strong in their guidance, my co-judge, Otula, and all those who participated. I thank you for the opportunity. Again, congratulations to all our winners. Good to see you all.
Wow. Thank you so much indeed. The judges have spoken, and now we are ready to get to know who are the country winners. Now, I don't even know who the winners are. Even the MC, the Master of Ceremonies, doesn't have any idea who the winners are. So, we'll start country by country, and we will start with Ethiopia. Thank you for the chapter, OFAB chapter. We saw the delegation there, and now we want to declare who the winners are. Ethiopia. I'd kindly call upon Mr. Vitu. Mr. Vitu, come forward. A big round of applause for him as he comes to help us in telling us who exactly is taking the ground. Yes, please go ahead. He's going to read, and then please, we give them a rousing applause once their names are declared. Vitu, over to you.
The winners from Ethiopia, TV category, Firehood Reta and Tamene. Newspaper category, Makomen Teshome and Tesfai Abete. Congratulations.
Wow.
The first category in the OFAB chapter of Ethiopia is television. The OFAB Africa Journalism Grant in this category, television, in the Ethiopia OFAB chapter goes to Mekonnen Teshome. Mekonnen Teshome is a senior science Ethiopian journalist focusing on agriculture, climate change, and health. He holds an MA degree in English language literature and has served various public-owned media, including the National Daily, the Ethiopian Herald, the National TV, ETV English Service, and several other private media. Before joining journalism, he served as an English teacher. He is the founder of the Science Journalist Association SJA Ethiopia and a media trainer especially on science journalism. He freelanced for a number of international media, including the Sub-Saharan branch of SciDev.net, Science Africa Kenya, Down to Earth India, IPS South Africa, The Mail, and many more. He also writes for several local media houses in Ethiopia. In addition, he has developed his own reporting skills on biotechnology and has trained other fellow Ethiopian science reporters on the subject after founding SJA in Ethiopia. Currently, he is the founding member of the Congress of Africa Journalists, CAJ. The second category in the OFAB chapter of Ethiopia is print and online. The OFAB Africa Journalism Grant in this category, print and online, in the Ethiopia OFAB chapter goes to Tesfaye Abate. Tesfaye Abate is presently working as a Deputy Editor-in-Chief at the News Department, Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation. He has been working here for the past 12 years, especially working on reports on agricultural and economic issues, not to mention his relatively ample reporting with regards to biotechnologies, of which his recent reporting in this line nominated him to this prestigious award. He has also been engaged in many other broadcast endeavors, making him one of the most sought-after journalists in the field in the nation.
Wow! Big round of applause. I know all the way in Ethiopia you're celebrating those winners. We move on very quickly because of time. We now move on to the next country, Burkina Faso, and to help us declare the winners, please put your hands together for Gilbert Arap Bor, farmer from Eldoret. Karibu sana. Makofi yake tafadhali. Karibu sana, karibu sana. All right.
The winner from Burkina Faso, TV, Momuni Baro. Let us clap for Momuni Baro. The winner for the print category is Jo Nebi Ives. And the winner for the newspaper online is Maxim Kabore. Thank you.
The first category in the OFAB chapter of Burkina Faso is television. The OFAB Africa Journalism Grant in this category, television, in the Burkina Faso OFAB chapter goes to Mumuni Baro. Mumuni Baro is from Burkina Faso. A journalist by training with more than 10 years of experience, he is passionate about the agricultural issues. This passion has led him to specialize in agricultural and environmental issues. As such, he is a journalist and reporter, communicator, and also a specialist on agricultural and environmental questions. His commitment has brought him 2 major awards in agriculture. In 2014, he won the first Goobo Award from Oxfam Burkina for the best television journalist in the field of family-based agriculture. In 2019, he won the second prize of OFAB Burkina Media Awards, and in this framework, he benefited from a partnership in the OFAB Africa Media Awards in Mombasa, Kenya. His commitment to participate in the quest for food security for his country led him to the path of agricultural biotechnology. And for him, ending hunger in the world, and especially in his country, necessarily requires the adoption of modern biotechnologies. The journalistic production is therefore his contribution to make better known and appreciate the innovations. The second category in the OFAB chapter of Burkina Faso is print. The OFAB Africa Journalism Grant in this category, print, in the Burkina Faso OFAB chapter goes to Jean-Nebi Yves. He is a journalist, chief editor of the journal Info Science Culture and the focal point of the journal Scientific and Research Activities. Through his relatively young writing style, he has to his credit many articles on agricultural biotechnologies. His commitment to scientific issues and his good knowledge of the actors, including researchers, producers and regulators of the national research, make him one of the best popularizers of research results. Ranked 4th at the first edition of OFAB Burkina Media Awards in 2017, he is the winner of the first prize of OFAB Burkina Media Awards in 2018 under the category of print or online media. He is the main animator of the columns In Our Laboratories and Scientist of the Month of the newspaper. In November of 2019, he participated as the only French-speaking science journalist in the second African Science, Research and Innovation Council ASRIC Congress in Abuja, Nigeria. His excellent articles on science, including health, agriculture, environment, technologies, innovations and others, are highly appreciated in Burkina Faso and in Africa. In this regard, in September of 2021, he was awarded the prize for Best Production Journalist on Diabetes awarded by the NGO Santé Diabète. The third category in the OFAB chapter of Burkina Faso is newspaper and online. The OFAB Africa Journalism Grant in this category, newspaper and online, in the Burkina Faso OFAB chapter goes to Maxim Kabore. Maxim Kabore was born in 1989 in Andemtenga, Faso. He is a graduate of the Department of Communication and Journalism at the University of Ouagadougou, now Joseph Kizerbo University, from which he graduated in 2012 with a master's degree in Information and Communication Sciences. Passionate about new information and communication technologies, he embraced a career as a web journalist since 2012. Currently, he works for Burkina 24, an online media founded in 2011, and he is interested in topics related to the rural world, especially agriculture. For a Sahelian country like Burkina Faso, agriculture, which is the livelihood of almost 80% of the population, is constantly challenged by climatic hazards, including drought, soil poverty, pests, and capricious rainfall. Thus, through his writings, he is encouraging the adoption of agricultural biotechnologies, which are the undeniable alternative for a resilient agriculture and for food self-sufficiency in Burkina Faso. As such, he has to his credit several articles highlighting the work of Burkinabe researchers on agri-biotech, which earned him the OFAB Prize for Best Journalist in 2020 in the print, online press or blog category.
Well, there you have it. Thank you so much. We move on to the next country very quickly because of time. We move on to Ghana. And I kindly request Mrs. Nancy Mushiri please come forward to help us declare who the winner is. All the information in the envelope. A big round of applause for her as she comes. Thank you so much indeed. And we celebrate all the winners so far. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Ghana.
Good afternoon.
Okay, the winners for Ghana are for print, Ama Achia Amankwa Bafi. I hope I've pronounced it right. Oh, and for TV, we have somebody we know, Joseph Opoku Gapko.
Excellent.
The first category in the OFAB chapter of Ghana is television. The OFAB Africa Journalism Grant in this category, television, in the Ghana OFAB chapter goes to Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Joseph is a Ghanaian communications professional with more than a decade's experience working as a science, environment, agriculture and rural development journalist. He is currently working with Ghana's largest private media house, the Multimedia Group Limited, which are the operators of Joy FM, Joy News TV and myjoyonline.com. He produces documentaries and other content for radio, television and online platforms. He's a Global Leadership Fellow with Cornell University's Alliance for Science program, which gave him the opportunity to study at the Ivy League institution for 3 months in 2016. In 2019, he spent another 4 months at the Global Development Department of Cornell University as a research intern. He holds an undergraduate degree in agricultural biotechnology from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and a master's degree in communication studies from the University of Ghana. His master's thesis was on the dissemination of information on GMO technology, a case study of the Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology's educational campaign in a southern municipality of Ghana. The second category in the OFAB chapter of Ghana is print. Ama is a seasoned journalist with over 18 years' experience in news reporting and analysis in both electronic and print media. Her knowledge in communications work cuts across public relations, advertising, event management, media relations, and news reporting. Over the years, Ama has had the opportunity to participate in local and international professional training programs. She has attended various training programs, amongst which are Reuters training on business reporting, 2-month training program in Berlin, Germany on economic and financial reporting from January the 18th to March the 17th, 2008 by the International Institute for Journalism, IIJ of Inwent. She also has a certificate in human rights reporting by Journalists for Human Rights. Ama has won the maiden edition of the Ragnar Solman Memorial Scholarship, tenable in Norway and Sweden, and was jointly set up by the Voksenesen and the Swedish-Norwegian Corporation Fund and administered by the Dag Hammarskjöld program. Ama is a member of the Ghana Journalist Association GJA, Institute of Financial and Economic Journalists IFEJ, an alumnus of the Reuters Foundation, and also an alumnus of IIJ of Inwent and a member of Journalists for Business Advocacy.
Wow, there we have it. A big round of applause. Thank you so much. We celebrate you wherever you are and keep doing well for Africa. Let's move on to the next country, and that is Nigeria. At can call upon Daniel Magodu, farmer from Kirinyaga County. Makofi Akatafdali. A big round of applause for him as he comes to declare the winners in Nigeria.
Winners from Nigeria, TV Prete Ngozi Onyejiaku, Printi print, Vincent Ayaka Yusufu.
The first category in the OFAB chapter of Nigeria is television. The OFAB Africa Journalism Grant in this category, television, in the Nigeria OFAB chapter goes to Pretty Ngozi Onyejiaku. Pretty Onyejiaku is an economist, having graduated from the University of Calabar with a BSc Economics and a diploma in Applied Economics. As a broadcaster, she has been with Africa Independent Television, AIT, for 10 years and counting, after acquiring a master's in television and radio presentation at London Film and TV College. Pretty is a reporter, producer and head news marketer. As a reporter, Pretty has worked with several ministries and agencies reporting news and events. As a producer, she has produced uncountable documentaries, jingles, programs, TV shows and news. The second category in the OFAB chapter of Nigeria is print. The OFAB Africa Journalism Grant in this category, print, in the Nigeria OFAB chapter goes to Vincent Ayaka Yusuf. Vincent A. Yusuf is one of the vibrant farm journalists to have emerged from the north central of Nigeria. With about 8 years dedicated exclusively to agricultural journalism, Mr. Yusuf has established himself as one of the promising and prolific agriculture news reporter in Nigeria. Referred to as the farmer by his colleagues both in the Daily Trust newspapers where he works as an agric reporter since 2013 and among his contemporaries in the beat, Vincent has strong passion for agricultural journalism. He has traveled to many farming communities across all the 36 states of the Federation, reporting inspiring and innovative stories of young and old Nigerians doing unique things in the agric sector, including highlighting the challenges that confront them daily. Prior to becoming a farm journalist, he was a lecturer in the Department of Mass Communication of the NACAB's Polytechnic. He was also a broadcaster with Radio Nigeria Precious FM 102.5, Lafia, Nasarawa State, as a sports presenter and other programs between 2003 and 2005 before leaving to pursue further education. Born in Alwaza, Doma local government area of Nasarawa State in 1980 to Yusuf Akpu's family, he had his primary education between 1984 and 1990 and had his secondary school education in Doma and later in Egon Community Secondary School, ECSS, Nasarawa Egon, Nasarawa State. Vincent holds 2 diplomas in local government administration and mass communication upper division from the Plateau State Polytechnic Bakin Ladi and the University of Jos respectively. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in mass communication second class upper division from the University of Maiduguri where he graduated as one of its best students. As a reporter, Vincent A. Yusuf has traveled to a number of countries in Africa and Asia, attending conferences and training in agricultural journalism. Today, he has carved a niche for himself as one of the seasoned reporters covering agriculture beat in the print media. He is also today a farmer.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. A big round of applause to all of them. Thank you so much. We are celebrating you in a bit, but of course at the end we'll give you a big rousing applause. But in the meantime, let's move on to Uganda. Uganda, at this particular moment, please put your hands together for the Executive Director, AATF, Dr. Canisius Kanangire, to help us declare who the winner from Uganda is. Makofi yake tafadhali, a big round of applause, please. Thank you so much.
The winners are, for the TV category, Sarah Natolulu. For print, Chris Bandana and Henry Lutaya. For online and podcasts, we have Ronald Kato and Ronald Musoke. Congratulations.
The first category in the OFAB chapter of Uganda is television. The OFAB Africa Journalism Grant in this category, television, in the Uganda OFAB chapter goes to Sarah Nato-Olo. Sarah Nato-Olo, a Ugandan female journalist, Black African, her specialty is radio broadcasting and news reporting. She hosts radio talk shows and she is also a presenter of health and science, technology and innovation programs, the work she has been doing for over 12 years. She handles the general science beat, health, agriculture and environment. She is a member of professional media bodies in line with science issues worldwide. An experienced journalist in journalism and media management of the Uganda Management Institute. Additionally, she has done a wide range of media trainings in science, health, agriculture, gender and child health in a number of countries, and these include Netherlands, Egypt, South Africa, Denmark, Ghana and Mali. She also gained exposure in covering international conferences and meetings. These have exposed her to reporting on international perspectives regionally and locally, enabling her to gain more skills and knowledge in the broadcasting practice. The second category in the OFAB chapter of Uganda is print. The OFAB Africa Journalism Grant in this category, print, in the Uganda OFAB chapter goes to Christopher Bendana and Henry Luther Aya. Christopher Bendana is a Ugandan publisher of Science Now magazine at sciencenowmag.com and a science journalist. His byline has appeared in the Ugandan newspaper The New Vision, Science, Thomson Reuters and the Christian Science Monitor. His interests range from agricultural biotechnology, climate change, conservation to public policy. He is the Open Forum on Agriculture Biotechnology Uganda Chapter 2018 Media Awardee in the category of print and online. He has reported on agricultural biotechnology from Uganda, South Africa, Brazil and Burkina Faso. He also mentors emerging biotechnology journalists. Henry Luther Aya. Henry Luther Aya is an editor and writer with Uganda's The Sunrise newspaper and online. Henry has been a journalist for the past 20 years, mostly focusing his reporting on agriculture and water issues. Henry Luther Aya is the 2017 winner of the Agricultural Biotechnology Journalism Awards online category that was organized by the Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology, OFAB. In the same year, he won the National Agricultural Research Organization NARO Inaugural Uganda Biotechnology Media Award for Best Online Write About Agriculture. Not only does he write about farming, he is an active farmer who grows mango fruits and maize. The third category in the